On the news tonight, state governments to strictly enforce ban on commercial motorcycles and scrap metal scavengers in restricted areas across the state. President Bola Tinubu, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, others attend memorial mass of late Asagba of Asaba. Negotiations for new minimum wage between Labour and federal government end in deadlock. And abroad, Trump supporters call for riots after jury's verdict. Good evening and welcome to Delta TV News at 8. I am Blessing Usiagbada. President Bola Tinubu, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, and Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State were among dignitaries that attended a memorial mass organized at the instance of the late 13th Asagba of Asaba, Obi Professor Chike Edozien in Asaba. Ejime Udweme reports.
Other dignitaries were the State Deputy Governor, Sir Monday Onyeme, former governors, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, Chief James Ibori, former Deputy Governor, Chief Benjamin Eluel, Senator Ned Nwoko, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Emomotimi Guo, business mogul, Mr. Tony Elumelu, a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Ngozi Okoli, Senator James Manager, a former minority leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Ndudi Elumelu, NDDC Chairman, Mr. Chiedu Ibiem, a former military administrator of Abia State, retired Air Vice Marshal Frank Ajobina, and traditional rulers. Speaking at the event held at the St. Patrick's Catholic Church, Asaba, President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, condoled the people of Asaba in particular and Delta State in general over the passage of the revered traditional ruler. He said Nigeria had lost a man of great significance and one of the foremost traditional rulers in the country. President Tinubu described the late Asagba as an accomplished traditional ruler, an elder statesman, a distinguished professor of medicine who served the Asaba Kingdom with great purpose.
After a distinguished career in the Ivory Tower, Professor Joseph cemented the link between town and gown in 1991 when he mounted the throne of his forebears, the 13th Asagba of Asaba. For 33 years, Professor Joseph served the people of Asaba with extraordinary commitment and dedication to duty. He elevated the throne, superintended his people with fairness and godliness.
In his remarks, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori condoled with the people of Asaba and enjoined them to emulate the legacies of the late centenarian. He said the 34-year reign of the late Asagba brought development to Asaba and encouraged all to embrace the legacies of love, sacrifice, service, and tolerance the late Asagba left behind.
In his speech, God looked up. In his tool, at 34 years, this reign is worth celebrating. Because of time, the best you can give to him is to continue his legacy of love, sacrifice, service, tolerance, and passion.
In his homily, the Catholic Bishop of Iseluku Diocese, the Most Reverend Michael Ilue, described the death of a believer as a transition to eternal life and reminded Christians of the need to live a holy life in order not to be caught unawares by death. He said the late Asagba's 100 years on earth was impactful and prayed God to grant his soul eternal rest.
For him or her, death, physical death, is but the gateway into a new and possibly a higher and better form of existence. Death does not terminate life, but really only ushers in a new and more permanent phase of life, which we call eternal life.
The representative of the Asaba family, Mr. Louis Idoziem, commended the traditional chiefs of Asaba, the federal and state governments, as well as the Oshimili South Council for the support for the late monarch throughout his reign.
The greatest tribute we can pay to Asaba Professor Joseph Chike Idoziem, the 13th Asaba of Asaba, is to rededicate ourselves to the values we live by. The greatest currency is what Asaba gave us and what we can give to our children, and that is a good name.
He gave an assurance that the family will protect the legacies left behind by the late monarch. Ejime Uduime reporting.
The state government has said it will strictly enforce its ban on commercial motorcycles and scrap metal scavenging, popularly known as iron condemn, in restricted areas across the state. The secretary to the state government, Dr. Kingsley Emu, disclosed this in an interview with journalists shortly after a meeting with stakeholders in the state. Ejime Udweme reports.
Dr. Emu said the state government had zero tolerance for Okada riders in restricted areas and scrap metal scavengers across the state. He said the meeting attended by security agencies as well as the Seriki Hasawa in Asaba, Alhaji Ibrahim Geru, was to emphasize the ban on Okada in some designated areas to residents of the state. The SSG said commercial motorcycles remain banned in the Capital Territory Development Area, adding that commercial motorcycles in many parts of Oshimili South and Oshimili North local government areas had been banned.
Any persons in contravention of paragraph 3A of this regulation commits an offense and shall have his or her motorcycle confiscated by the police or any other authority designated by the governor pursuant to his powers under the regulation. In addition, such person shall be liable upon conviction to a term of imprisonment of 3 months or to a fine of 50,000 naira or both imprisonment and fine.
He stated that the government had designated the streets commercial motorcyclists should not ply. Dr. Emu said the meeting was to work out effective operations, implementation, and enforcement of the ban using the government gazette on the ban to educate the people. He said the ban was not a witch hunt on any ethnic group in the country, stressing that Nigerians must subject themselves to the rules and regulations of where they live.
Any persons in contravention of paragraph 3A of this regulation commits an offense and shall have his or her motorcycle confiscated by the police or any other authority designated by the governor pursuant to his powers under the regulation.
In their remarks, the Seriki Hasawa in Asaba, Alhaji Geru, the Special Assistant to the Governor, Alhaji Mukhtar Usman, and the Chairman of the Delta State Muslims Pilgrims Welfare Board, Alhaji Awalu Tuko, pledged support to the policies and programs of the state government. Ejime Uduime reporting.
The National Orientation Agency and the Delta State Orientation Bureau are to carry out a statewide sensitization campaigns against vices, especially among the youths. The Delta State Director of the NOA, Mrs. Tracy Ikolomi, stated this when she visited the Chief Executive Officer of the DSOB, Dr. Latimo Ogenesiwe. The report.
Mrs. Ikolomi said the use of hard drugs in the state and across the country had become worrisome and must be tackled headlong. She said the national and sub-national governments should, within available resources, embark on a statewide sensitization campaigns as well as rehabilitation of victims of illicit drugs to reduce the menace of drugs, especially among the youths.
You agree with me, sir, that in Asaba and environs we have been bedeviled with drug misuse and abuse, and so we want to also partner with you to carry out this orientation to ensure that drug abuse is reduced to its barest minimum.
In his remarks, the head of the Delta State Orientation Bureau, and Executive Assistant of Communications to the State Governor, Dr. Latimer Ogenesiwe, thanked Mrs. Ikolomi for the visit and assured her of the Bureau's willingness to partner the NOA on sensitization campaigns, especially on drug abuse. He lamented the alarming rate of criminality across Nigeria and attributed the development to the use of hard drugs by criminal elements, adding that the partnership will address the menace of drug addiction and its negative consequences on state and national development.
I will be so glad to have you partners with us to disseminate this information in such a way that gradually begin to penetrate. We might not be able to win everybody, but at least substantially we should be able to do something about it, so that at the end of the day we should be proud of the kind of children that we are training, and we should be proud of people we have in government.
Dr. Ogenesiwe advised parents and guardians to bring up their children and wards properly to guarantee a good future for them.
President Bola Tinubu has advised state governors to prioritize the needs of local communities. President Tinubu, who made the call when he received the leadership of the Arewa Consultative Forum at the Presidential Villa in Abuja yesterday, also spoke on out-of-school children, security and the economy, while noting the lack of attention for the grassroots, where he said the highest number of votes come from during elections. The president said the ACF leadership should intervene by imploring governors to urgently pay attention to the needs of the people in the councils. Highlighting the significance of education in nation building, the president described the situation of out-of-school children in parts of Nigeria as unacceptable. On security, President Tinubu commended the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, for his efforts in improving security in the country. He used the occasion to appeal for national unity and continued support for his government as it makes efforts to address challenges confronting the populace. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, has temporarily suspended the enforcement granted to Messrs. Dynamic Concept Limited by the federal government as consultants to collect such levies. The decision was reached following a meeting with executives of airline operators of Nigeria on the issue bordering on helicopter landing levies collection at aerodromes, helipads, and airstrips, among others. A statement signed by the head of press, Mr. Odutayo Oluseyi, today in Abuja, stated that the suspension was with effect from May 30, 2024. This, the minister said, is a result of clamor for review by some stakeholders in the industry. Accordingly, Mr. Keyamo has constituted a committee with members drawn up from the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development and its relevant agencies, airline operators of Nigeria, international oil companies, and Messrs. Dynamic Concept Limited, who are charged to look into the issues raised by concerned stakeholders and submit a report on or before the end of June 2024. Talks on minimum wage between the federal government and organized labor hits a brick wall today as the government failed to shift grounds on the 60,000 naira it proposed during the last meeting. With this latest move, the organized labor comprising of the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress may embark on a nationwide strike. Recall that LLC and TUC had given a May 31, 2024 ultimatum on the new minimum wage. On Tuesday, talks between the federal government and organized labor broke down after the government and organized private sector raised their offers to 60,000 naira. The government added 3,000 naira to its initial offer of 57,000 naira proposed last week, taking the total figure to 60,000 naira. It was dismissed by Labour at the meeting. At the meeting, Labour again lowered its demand by removing 3,000 naira from the 497,000 naira it proposed last week, pegging the new proposal at 494,000 naira. To fast-track the negotiation process, the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria on May Day gave the committee till the end of the month to wrap up talks on a new national minimum wage. That ultimatum will expire today night. The president of the TUC, Festus Osifo, said the ultimatum issued by Labour remained following the breakdown of talks on Tuesday. President Bola Tinubu, through Vice President Kashim Shettima, on January 30, 2024, inaugurated the 37-member tripartite committee to come up with a new minimum wage. With its membership cutting across federal and state governments, the private sector, and organized labor, the panel is to recommend a new national minimum wage for the country. Senator Shettima, during the committee's inauguration, urged the members to speedily arrive at a resolution and submit their reports early. The 37-man committee is chaired by the former head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mr. Goni Aji. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has cancelled the 10,000 jobs in the state civil service approved by his predecessor, Mr. Nyesom Wike, saying a fresh recruitment process would be carried out. Before leaving office, Mr. Wike approved the immediate employment of a significant number of youths to fill existing vacancies in the state workforce, effective immediately. However, Governor Fubara, during an interactive session with stakeholders in Port Harcourt today, said he cancelled the recruitment because the process was flawed and compromised those entrusted to handle it. He stated that a more transparent process would commence soon, expressing sadness that when the names of those selected from the 23 local government areas were scrutinized, there were people smuggled in for political patronage. The Nigerian Army Defense Headquarters today reacted to the killing of 5 soldiers deployed to protect citizens in Abia State. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, in a statement accused the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, of perpetrating the dastardly act yesterday. The military vowed that it would be fierce in its response to the killing of its troops at a checkpoint in Abia State. The troops deployed to enforce peace in the area and protect the citizens were mass attacked by the terrorists. The terrorists in 3 tinted Prado Toyota SUVs and others from built-up areas surrounding the checkpoint sprang a surprise attack on the checkpoint. Major General Buba said the military would be fierce in its response and would bring overwhelming military pressure on the group to ensure their total defeat. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has asked the Southeast governors to declare May 30th a public holiday in their state to honor the Biafran fallen heroes. The group stated that the demand to honor the Biafran heroes and heroines with a public holiday is timely. In a statement by the Media and Publicity Secretary, Comrade Ima Powerful, the IPOB urged the Southeast governors and Ohaneze Ndigbo to emulate Southwest leaders who pushed and immortalized Chief Enku Abiola with June 12 as a Democracy Day and a public holiday. The demand to honor the Biafran heroes with a public holiday is just a demand, just like Southwest leaders pushed and immortalized MK Abiola with June 12 as a Democracy Day and a public holiday. Ohaneze Ndigbo and Igbo governors should be courageous enough to pursue the agenda to immortalize Biafra heroes with a public holiday. It also noted the 2024 Biafran Heroes Day was very significant, stressing that an important message has been sent to IPOB adversaries that the illegal detention of its leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, does not deter the resoluteness of the group and Biafrans for their freedom. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, Mr. Akintunde Seya, has said that 60,000 students from the federal tertiary institutions have registered for the student loan scheme since the launch of the portal last week Friday. Mr. Sawyer disclosed this in Abuja during a press conference. He said the agency would start receiving applications from students of state-owned tertiary institutions in 3 weeks. The NEL Fund boss urged heads of the state-owned institutions to start uploading details of their students on its portal. Mr. Sawyer said over 9.5 million people had visited the portal since it was launched last week. The student loan scheme will take off with 1.2 million students as beneficiaries. The loan, which is an equivalent of the tuition fees of the benefiting student, will be paid directly to their institutions. The stipend will be paid directly to beneficiaries on a monthly basis to assist them buy other things that can make them comfortable while pursuing their education. The National Association of Nigerian Students (NANS) has urged the federal government to be transparent in implementing the student loan scheme. The national president of NANS, Comrade Pedro Obi, who made a call today in a statement in Abeokuta, Ogun State, urged the federal government to appoint individuals of unquestionable integrity and competence to oversee the disbursement of the loans to ensure the scheme's success and guarantee its sustainability. The association also called for urgent action on the alleged deportation of Nigerian students from Teesside University in the United Kingdom for defaulting on their school fees. The students' body insisted that the federal government must take immediate and decisive action to protect the rights and future of students abroad. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has confiscated illegal drugs worth 107 million naira in various motor parks in Abuja. In a social media post, NAFDAC said the operation targeted illegal drug sales at Area 1 Motor Park, Dunamis Market, Garki, Zuba Market, Inyanya Motor Park, and Asokoro. It said 22 suspects were arrested, while over 50 wares of illegal drugs including tramadol, rufinol, diazepam, codamol, aphrodisiacs, and codeine syrups were confiscated. The agency gave the estimated value of the seized drugs to be worth over 107 million naira. According to NAFDAC, the investigation was prompted by credible information from the Department of State Services, DSS. The agency said the arrested individuals were under investigation, adding that the confiscated product would be destroyed. This is Delta TV News at 8. Still to come, Trump supporters call for riots after jury's verdict. Details of the story and many more will come after the short break. Please stay tuned.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary. On behalf of the board and management of Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, we extend our warmest congratulations to His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Ubrewari JP, Governor Delta State, on his first anniversary in office. In this short period, your visionary leadership, unwavering dedication and tireless commitment to the betterment of Delta State have left an indelible mark on our collective journey towards progress and prosperity. Under your guidance, Delta State has witnessed transformative initiatives, groundbreaking policies, and remarkable strides across various sectors. Your steadfast determination to prioritize the welfare and development of our people has not gone unnoticed, and we are proud to stand by you in support of your noble endeavors. As we reflect on the past year, we are inspired by your resilience in the face of challenges, your ability to unite diverse communities, and your genuine concern for the welfare of every citizen. Your leadership serves as a beacon of hope and inspiration, guiding us towards a brighter future for us all. On this auspicious occasion, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to working collaboratively with your administration to realize the aspirations of our beloved Delta State. Together, we will continue to strive for excellence, innovation, and inclusivity, ensuring that every individual has the opportunity to thrive and succeed. Once again, congratulations on this significant milestone, and may the years ahead be filled with even greater achievements and prosperity for Delta State under your esteemed and inspirational leadership. Congratulations, Your Excellency. Honorable Austin Chikezie, Board Chairman, Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, and Mrs. Christine Imetulu, General Manager. Announcers.
Welcome back to Delta TV Main News, and thanks for staying tuned. The global scene is next as we join our world news desk.
Supporters of former U.S. President Donald Trump, enraged by his conviction on 34 felony counts by New York jury, flooded pro-Trump websites with call for riots, revolution, and violent retribution. After Mr. Trump became the first U.S. president to be convicted of a crime, his supporters responded with dozens of violent online posts. Some called for attacks on jurors, the execution of the judge, Justice Juan Merchan, or outright civil war and armed insurrection. Threats of violence and intimidating rhetorics soared after Trump lost the 2020 election and falsely claimed the vote was stolen. As he campaigns for a second White House term, Mr. Trump has baselessly cast the judges and prosecutors in his trials on corrupt tools of the Biden administration, intent on sabotaging his White House bid. His loyalists have responded with a campaign of threats and intimidation targeting judges and court officials. A 12-member jury found Mr. Trump guilty yesterday of falsifying documents to cover up a payment to silence a porn star's account of a sexual encounter ahead of the 2016 election. Sentencing is set for July 11, days before the Republican Party is scheduled to formally nominate Mr. Trump for president ahead of the November 5 election. Mr. Trump has denied wrongdoing and is expected to appeal. South Africa's ruling party, the African National Congress, ANC, is on course to lose its majority in parliament for the first time since it came to power 30 years ago. Partial results from Wednesday's parliamentary election suggest that South Africa's ruling party, the African National Congress, ANC, is on course to lose its majority in parliament for the first time since it came to power 30 years ago. With results from 65% of voting districts counted so far, the ANC is leading with 42%, followed by Democratic Alliance (DA) with 23%, and the Umkhonto Siwezi Party (MK Party) of former President Jacob Zuma has received 12% of the vote, and the Economic Freedom Fighters Party about 10%. Final results are expected over the weekend. The online system streaming the election results crashed this morning, leaving poll screens showing zero results. South Africa's Electoral Commission has apologized for the issue and later restored the service. It said the poll results have not been compromised. Many voters blame the ANC for the high levels of corruption, crime, and unemployment in the country.
Let's join our business news desk for happenings in the business sector.
The Bureau of Public Enterprises (BPE) has disclosed that the federal government has secured a $500 million loan from the World Bank in a strategic move to address the identified gaps in the electricity distribution companies, DISCOs. The BPE said the World Bank Board of Directors approved the funding in 2021 to support the Nigeria Electricity Distribution Sector Recovery Program, DISREP, aimed at improving the financial and technical performance of the DISCOs. It explains that the DISREP was designed to enhance the financial and technical operations of the DISCOs through capital investment and the financing of key components of their performance improvement plans, PIPs, which have been approved by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. The equity market extended its rally to the fourth consecutive trading day, as investors gained about 259 billion naira yesterday. The benchmark index and the market capitalization of the Nigeria Exchange appreciated by 0.46% to close at 99,276.03 points and 56.16 trillion naira respectively. On Wednesday, investors gained about 246 billion naira, buoyed by an appreciation by Abe Mortgage Bank, National Salt Company, First City Monument Bank, and 28 other gainers. The increased trading activity dominated the day's trade, with the exchange recording 32 gainers and 12 losers. Top gainers of the day included International Energy Insurance and Seplat Energy, which added 10% to close at 1.54 naira and 3.410 naira. and Etana with 9.87% to close at 12.25 naira. The decliners chart was led by Cornerstone Insurance, which lost 8.81% to close at 1.75 naira. International Breweries PLC shed 8.75% to close at 3.65 naira, and Prestige Assurance Company dipped 8.47% to close at 0.54 naira. The number of deals dipped by 9.59% to 7,035, while the trading volume decreased by 40.32%, 0.7 million naira traded shares. Access Holding led the chart with 51,777,439 naira unit traded in 754 days, while Zenith Bank was the most traded security by value, amounting to 1.31 billion naira in 509 deals.
And now let's join our sports news desk for happening in the world of sports.
The Super Eagles are set to resume camp in Uyo next Monday in preparation for the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying fixtures against South Africa and Benin Republic. All 23 invited players, along with the coaching staff, are expected to arrive on the same day to begin their training session under the leadership of Coach Finidi George. The Nigeria senior team has only picked 2 points from 2 games in the current qualifiers. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will host the Bafana Bafana of South Africa in Uyo on Friday, 7 June. Following this, they will travel to Abidjan to face Benin Republic Squirrels 3 days later. Standing third in Group C with the draws against Lesotho and Zimbabwe, Finidi will be aiming to secure Nigeria's first win in the qualifiers. The venues and date for the quarter-final fixtures of the President Federation Cup have been released. According to a statement by the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF), who are the organizers of the competition, all the quarter-final matches will be played on Wednesday, June 5th. The headline fixture of the round between Sunshine Stars and Kano Pillars will be played at the Area 3 pitch, Abuja. Former champions El Kanemi Warrior will lock horns with Inter Lagos at the Buhari Stadium, Abuja. The FIFA Go Project, Abuja, will host the encounter between Abia Warriors and Sokoto United. The EFCC FC and Kebbi United will battle at the Sani Abacha Stadium, Kano. The winner of the competition will represent Nigeria in the CAF Confederation Cup next season. In the women category quarter-final fixtures, Nasarawa Amazons will play against Remo Star Ladies at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City. Nigeria Raptors will lock on with FC Robo Queens at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba. Delta Queens and Sunshine Queens will trade tackles at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, while Osun Babes and Rivers Angels will slug it out in Enugu.
And that's our news. Now our thought for the day. The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fail. Now before we go, let's take a look at some of our major stories. The state government has said it will strictly enforce its ban on commercial motorcycles and scrap metal scavenging, popularly known as iron condemn, in restricted areas across the state. The secretary to the state government, Dr. Kingsley Emu, disclosed this in an interview with journalists shortly after a meeting with stakeholders in the state. President Bola Tinubu, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, and Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State were among dignitaries that attended a memorial mass organized at the instance of the late 13th Asaba of Asaba, Obi Professor Chike Edozian in Asaba. Talks on minimum wage between the federal government and organized labor hit a brick wall today as the government failed to shift grounds on the 60,000 naira it proposed during the last meeting. With this latest move, the organized labor comprising of the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress may embark on a nationwide strike. We also reported the supporters of former President Donald Trump, enraged by his conviction on 34 felony counts by a New York jury, flooded pro-Trump websites with calls for riots revolution, and violent retribution. That ends Delta TV main news at 8. Thank you so much for watching. I am Blessing Usiagbada. Have a restful night.